record day on Wall Street, but the IRS and Y2K. Your tax man may not be ready for the year 2000, what it could mean for tax returns and refunds. NBC News in depth, young guns. This boy on trial for a murder committed when he was 11. What should America do with children who commit horrible crimes? Lifeline, your personal medical information. When others get to see it, the fight over privacy. And the family, an orphan who needed food and love, an American mother thousands of miles away, heard her cry and rushed to the rescue.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Well, it's been another banner day and week for making money on the stock market. In fact, if the markets could keep up the pace of this week alone, they would at least double in a year, or in the case of NASDAQ, rise by more than 250%. The Dow was up just over 107 points, NASDAQ more than 91 points. For the week, the Dow was up almost 2.5%, NASDAQ was up more than 5% this week alone. Of course, that is just 1 week after some uncertainty in stocks, a pace no one expects to be maintained. But for now, the glory days still are on. NBC's chief financial correspondent is Mike Jensen.
A day for the record books. NASDAQ soaring to a new all-time high. The Dow capping a three-day surge of more than 400 points. Wall Street traders like John Vedavino exuberant.
So quite a day, John?
Quite a day. Just technology's taking off. Motorola's up 4.
Investors pouring money into the stock market. Last month, more than $9 billion into mutual funds alone. Today, millions more.
I'm just happy that it keeps going up and up and up.
ING Barings chief strategist Matthew Merritt says this week's run by the bulls is phenomenal.
Probably the strongest we've seen this year.
Why the sudden resurgence of stock prices? For one thing, an economy that refuses to slow down. New statistics this week that amazed the experts. A midsummer economic growth spurt and almost no inflation, which makes the Federal Reserve less likely to jack up interest rates again when it meets in 2 weeks. No need to fight inflation if there is none. Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan last night in Florida.
The process of containment may already be significantly advanced.
What does that mean? Depends on which newspaper you read, but here's the most widespread interpretation. Even if the Fed does raise rates another 1/4 point in November, it will probably leave them alone after that. And that's powering this market. The Dow now up 17% since January. NASDAQ up 35%. What comes next? Many analysts say the big correction is over, that there will still be plenty of bad days, but for now, the bulls have beaten off the bears. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
And a different kind of question tonight about your financial future. It was getting a hearing today in Washington. Y2K, the computer problem, and the IRS. Will the tax collector be able to collect? Or more important to you, will you get your refund? Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
Internal Revenue Service, the nation's tax collector, admits it still has potential trouble spots, not quite ready for the year 2000. Not even sure how many individual computers it has. But the agency told Congress today it's confident it will be ready, said the key equipment that processes returns has already been fixed and tested. Good thing, says IRS's Paul Cosgrove.
We literally would have not been able to process tax returns.
But if there are still unexpected breakdowns, should taxpayers be concerned?
The major concern would probably be around whether they're going to get their refund on time.
Because if the computers quit, refunds would have to be processed by hand. What's that mean to you?
What the public needs to do is what the tax preparers will recommend they do every year, and that is keep tax records.
Other agencies told Congress today of frightening problems that have now been fixed. Pentagon computers that would not have forwarded orders to weapons bases. All these problems caught and repaired now. But as one of many government precautions, Social Security will switch briefly from regular power to backup jet-driven generators at midnight New Year's Eve, just to be sure. And then there's this. Phone companies tonight actually asking people not to pick up their receivers to test them just after midnight on New Year's Eve. If too many do it at once, could jam circuits, create busy signals, even if there's no Y2K problem at all. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
Somehow you do have the feeling the government will find a way to collect taxes and that there may be more troubling Y2K problems on the horizon. The possibilities for much more than mischief could be too tempting for radical groups. And so major law enforcement agencies are especially vigilant as this new year approaches. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
In Israel today, authorities deport a dozen Americans, part of a Christian group that officials there suspect of planning violent acts to mark the year 2000. The Americans say their mission was entirely peaceful, but the Israelis are preparing for the worst, expecting trouble when the millennium arrives. And in two new reports just out, warnings that fears of the millennium could bring trouble at home. At today's meeting of the Anti-Defamation League in Atlanta, concern about what the group calls Y2K paranoia. ADL researchers say some apocalyptic religious groups believe they must carry out violent actions to help bring about their prediction of the end of the world.
It needs to be an apocalypse. I mean, horrendous things have to happen. Now, some of them are hoping for it, some are praying for it, and what we're concerned is that some may try to make it happen.
And in a new report now on its way to police departments nationwide, similar warnings from the FBI. Investigators say radical hate groups may use Y2K computer confusion as an excuse to start a race war. And the FBI warns that radical militias actually fear the United Nations will stage an armed takeover of the country to set up a worldwide government. A former top FBI terrorism expert says, as unlikely as it sounds, it cannot be taken lightly.
Given some of the fanatic rhetoric espoused by these groups, and given the level of armament that some of them have, I think there's a real legitimate concern.
The FBI also worries that overseas terrorist groups could use any computer problems as a cover to stage an attack on critical U.S. computer networks. Tonight, the FBI is taking this all very seriously because with just 2 months until the year 2000, investigators believe they have no choice. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
And when we come back, too close for comfort. NBC News in depth tonight. A terror plot by high school students uncovered in Cleveland. The city's mayor laying down the law.
There's going to be a zero tolerance to any child bringing violence or threatening violence in a building of the Cleveland Municipal School District.
Fear at this high school. Are America's schools more at risk these days? That's in depth tonight. And the family. The remarkable story of an American mother's journey to save the children in an orphanage thousands of miles away.
It's time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
At Enterprise Rent-A-Car, when you call us, we don't just pick up the phone. We pick you up.
This is great. Thank you.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
These days, everybody wants whiter teeth.
Including me, and I wear dentures.
New Polident Whitening Mouthwash not only freshens your breath, it whitens dentures in just 2 weeks. New Polident Whitening Mouthwash.
It's giving denture wearers a lot to smile about.
Whoa, these hungry kids are coming on strong.
Mom needs a big play to satisfy them.
Totino's Pizza Roll.
With Move, the great taste of pizza in bite-sized rolls.
Here they come.
Totino's Pizza Roll. Sensational.
Another big win for the home team.
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray, an effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day to relieve nasal allergy symptoms, indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. The most common side effects were headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and cough.
New tonight at 6, the Willamette River is getting extra protection. Not only from environmentalists, from developers. See what builders are doing on the east side. Tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
The countdown to 2000 in Pioneer Courthouse Square has begun.
NBC News in depth tonight. Fear threatens another American high school. This time, it's Cleveland. Authorities uncovering what was apparently a terror plot by high school students. Since the massacre at Columbine High in Colorado in April, school officials, parents, and especially children have been on high alert. NBC's Jim Avila begins tonight's in-depth reporting with this latest threat.
Cleveland South High closed today. The homecoming football game and dance canceled. Latest victims of a national anxiety experts call Columbine syndrome. More than 3,000 threats to American schools since Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold attacked their high school. Sarah Jedd, now cooperating with police, says she witnessed the planning in Cleveland.
2 weeks ago, they started drawing up plans of the second Columbine, as they called it.
Sarah questioned by Cleveland police today because her name was on a map outlining an attack on South High. Says the 4 classmates arrested today on felony charges, including inciting violence and aggravated menacing, were serious and would have carried out a massacre if she and another girl had not told their parents.
They were going to stand in a circle and just open fire on each other. And whoever was left standing would, they said, bask in the glory.
Sarah says the 4 students, all boys 14 to 16 years old, freshmen and sophomores at South High, planned to burglarize homes and stores for weapons, but so far had only a plan, no firepower. Cleveland Mayor Michael White says 2 guns were confiscated, but police sources say they were owned by parents of the boys and may not have any connection to their plans.
There's going to be a zero tolerance to any child bringing violence or threatening violence in a building of the Cleveland Municipal School District.
An atmosphere that has parents justifiably nervous. The National School Safety Center says San Antonio alone prosecuted 50 students for threatening schools since Columbine.
Columbine has reminded us that we've transitioned to a whole new level of violence, from fist fights to gunfights and now with explosive devices. And it sent the message that all threats must be taken seriously.
And make most parents forget that despite their fears, children are 99 times more likely to be assaulted off campus than on. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
And of course, this heightened awareness of the potential for violence by children has created a complex dilemma for the American society. Just how does the justice system deal with a child who kills? Continuing tonight's in-depth reporting, here's NBC's Ann Thompson.
13-year-old Nathaniel Abraham on trial today in a Pontiac, Michigan courtroom, facing life in prison for the murder of Ronnie Green Jr., a crime Nathaniel allegedly committed when he was 11.
I'm going to shoot somebody. Nathaniel Abraham did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Also on trial, the issue of whether to try Nathaniel and other juvenile offenders as adults.
An attempt to expose an 11-year-old child, a mentally impaired child, to these type of charges under the law of the state of Michigan is beyond offensive.
This young man, who claims the shooting was an accident, on the cover of Amnesty International's highly critical report of children in the American judicial system.
He represents the importance, the sanctity even, of childhood and the dangers of treating child offenders as adult offenders.
But that's exactly the trend this decade. More children tried as adults. The juvenile crime rate falling. Total arrests dropped more than 4% from 1997 to 98. Murder arrests declined almost 12% for the same period. Meanwhile, states got tougher on kids. Between 1992 and 97, 44 states and the District of Columbia passed laws making it easier for juveniles to be tried as adults. Politically popular, but now questions.
I think it's understandable, but I don't think it's the long-term solution for dealing with juvenile crime in our society.
Chicago's Cook County, home to America's first juvenile court. now trying to figure out how to deal with children committing serious crimes at younger and younger ages. So what to do with the youngest offenders? This summer, a special commission recommended requiring treatment programs for children under the age of 10, and for offenders between 10 and 12, a choice to prosecute under juvenile codes or impose treatment programs.
The issue becomes, what is their developmental level so that they understand that they're being held accountable?
In Michigan, if convicted, Nathaniel Abraham could be sentenced as a juvenile or an adult. Either way, the victim's family wants Nathaniel to pay.
I just really want justice to be served for him.
The question tonight, what is justice for a 13-year-old boy? Ann Thompson, NBC News, Chicago.
When we come back, a new effort to protect the privacy of your medical records. You'll probably be surprised at who can see them now.
Be afraid, potato chips. Be very afraid.
Introducing Quaker Crispy Minis. Light and crispy with a flavor so intense, you'll forget they're good for you. So let the mouth-watering begin. New Quaker Crispy Minis Rice Snacks. The rice snack that eats like a chip. Try new barbecue and sour cream and onion flavors.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I just got a signal, your airbags went off, should I send an ambulance?
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
In the last 13 years, Nicorette helped over 1 million people help themselves stop smoking. And that was the reason that convinced me to use Nicorette. All these people knew it was safe and effective. Nicorette delivers a low level of nicotine fast to help control cravings without the tars and toxins found in cigarettes. And Nicorette was proven safe and effective in more clinical trials than any other product. Just the idea that Nicorette had helped all those people made me feel that Nicorette was the right choice for me in the end. Which it was.
Nicorette helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
Nobody does it like you.
Introducing Freedom of Choice. Use your new Hoover Caddy Vac with all the tools right on board. See? Or make, like, a totally different call and slide that caddy off. Then you're ready to hit the floor with a lightweight, nimble machine. And either way, your carpet gets deep down clean. The new Hoover Caddy Vac. Nice choice. Hoover. Deep down, you want Hoover.
Sunday, the race for the White House. Bill Bradley closes in against Al Gore, while Bush still leads the pack. Will Pat Buchanan be the key to the final outcome? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
It's like today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
Today, President Clinton took the issue of privacy of your medical records. He proposed new regulations that would limit access to information about the medicines you take or the sicknesses you have now or that you've had in the past. You might be surprised at who actually does have access to that kind of very personal information in this highly computerized world. Here tonight in our Lifeline report, NBC's chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
Cynthia Rococo worked as a nurse at a major hospital. She was fired, she says, after her supervisor looked into her computerized medical records without her permission and found out she had been treated for depression.
It's difficult for me to trust anyone, an employer, coworkers, physicians.
It is fears of such consequences, what can happen when others learn your private medical history, that led the White House to propose new rules governing dissemination of medical records. The new rules apply only to computerized records, not those kept the old-fashioned way on paper. But soon, most medical records will not only be computerized, but transmitted over the Internet, so that doctors, hospitals, labs, pharmacies, and insurance companies can share them instantly.
Clearly, medical records are being internet-enabled at an astonishing speed. And not only will they be in the standard places, hospital information systems, but more and more accessible to the public.
Boston's Beth Israel Deaconess is one of the leaders in computerization. Doctors and nurses type information into terminals right at the patient's bedside, eliminating paper and sloppy handwriting. Experts say there is no trouble encrypting the information so that the only people who see the data are those authorized by the patient.
We are very compulsive about how we enforce our security and confidentiality.
Still, mistakes occur. Earlier this year, because of a computer error, thousands of patient records appeared on the University of Michigan Medical Center's public website. Far more troublesome with computers. Your medical records can go anywhere, and you don't know it. Under the new rules, anyone dispensing medical records without a patient's permission could face stiff civil and criminal penalties. The White House says it is the best hope of keeping people's medical histories under their own control. The best hope, many say, for reducing the risk of reprisals suffered by people like Cynthia Rococo, whose medical histories cost them their jobs and much more. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
In Orlando, Florida this morning, more than 2,000 people gathered in the First Baptist Church to remember golf champion Payne Stewart, who died Monday when his Learjet crashed into a South Dakota field. It was his wife, Tracy, who best summed up his life in her own words.
Payne was passionate about a lot of things, but none stronger than his passion for being a good father. And he was a great father. We shared laughter, tears, victories and defeats. You will always be my soulmate and my best friend. As I look back now, I realize that even after 18 years of marriage, Payne was still the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. Not because of the way he looked on the outside anymore, but because of what was on the inside. We love you. Let the party in heaven begin.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Dinner time. Is my little precious hungry?
Nothing has more lives than a DuPont Stainmaster carpet. So for beauty that lasts, insist on the quality of Stainmaster.
Come on, I'm innocent, I tell you. I was fine.
Backed and warranted by DuPont.
Now there's a Chevy Venture with flip and fold seats and a built-in entertainment system.
I knew I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque.
Fun things are bound to happen when Chevy and Warner Brothers get together. Introducing the new Warner Brothers edition from Chevy Venture, the most versatile minivan ever. One quick call can help you learn more.
Let's go!
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray, an effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day to relieve nasal allergy symptoms, indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. The most common side effects were headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
Want to help with the dishes? No. I'll make dessert. Okay. New Pillsbury One-Step Brownie in its own ready-to-bake pan. Just pop it in the oven. Brownies. And eat. With new Pillsbury One-Step Brownie, a great dessert is just one step away. Thanks for your help. Don't mention it.
Choosing a cranberry juice is confusing.
Premium cocktail, 27% juice, corn syrup. Avoid the confusion. Trust Northland to always be 100% juice.
Northland is pure genius.
Northland, always 100% juice.
The old neighborhood. And Vinny's? Shh, they're coming. I made your old favorite pepperoni. Can't eat that now. This can't be Charlie. I didn't take my Pepsi. I gotta wait. Then we all wait.
Oh. Take my Tagamet. You could eat now.
When it's too late for Pepsid, it's not too late for Tagamet. You can take Tagamet right when you're going to eat and still prevent heartburn. With Tagamet, you can eat like a kid again.
From outsider to role model for the whole nation, the life of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis.
On Headliners and Legends with Matt Lauer, tonight on MSNBC.
This weekend, travel without packing. Join the adventure with National Geographic Explorer this weekend on CNBC.
Tonight we end with a story that demonstrates again that when it comes to children and their needs, there are no borders. This one grows out of a report that we did on the desperate state of Russian orphanages. An American mother with her own personal difficulties saw that story. And tonight, NBC's Roger O'Neill shares the happy ending.
Who says dreams can't come true?
Natasha. Terry.
They did for Natasha.
I have all your pictures at my house. This face and this face.
They did for 52 other Russian orphans this week.
Yes, I will have to learn Russian. Da.
Most of all, they did for Terry Tazinski, who dreamed of making life better for some of Russia's forgotten children.
The shocking thing for me has been to see the environment that they have to live in, which is pretty awful.
Not long ago, Terry was battling her own awful issue, breast cancer. But unlike the children here who have so little, Terry's life at home in Seattle was full. A family, Tom and her son Zeke, the best medical care. She was never without hope, unlike the starving orphans she saw last year on NBC Nightly News. Terry found strength in her own weakness. After a 10,000-mile journey, she brought that strength to these children. With dollars raised back home, Terry and Tom went on a shopping spree. Paper, pencils, bags of pasta, fresh fruit.
How about one case of these?
Bananas were new. These kids had never tasted one. For the orphanage, pots and pans, bowls, even the kitchen sink. They bought 6. Here, the American dollar goes a long way.
Okay, that's only $4,400.
What else?
What do you want?
Refrigerator?
Until you spend some time and you talk to these people, you don't understand. Nobody understands how powerful that $1 can be and how much it can help.
Enough help for a whole year.
They're starved for love. They want you to hold them and rock them and kiss them, and they're always putting their arms around you and wanting a hug.
The kind of hugs Terry's 5-year-old Zeke has missed this week. This backyard jungle gym, which Zeke rarely uses, may soon be filled with children. Terry and Tom hope to adopt some of the orphans and bring them back here to Seattle next summer. Zeke, who talked to his mom and dad today, can hardly wait.
I have plenty of toys to share with them.
This is the one I want to take home with me. Along with about 27 others.
All right. But for now, pictures will do. Wonderful memories of a new family. Who said one person can't make a difference? Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Seattle.
All right. That's Nightly News for this Friday, and for Yankee fans everywhere, one more look at the World Series champs and their big hometown tribute in Lower Manhattan today. By police estimates, more than 3 million people were there, a record crowd. I'll see you Monday.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world. From KGW, where the news comes first, this is Northwest News Channel 8 at 6.
Gotcha. The surveillance camera catches a trio of brazen bandits pull off a jewelry heist in broad daylight. It is our top story tonight. Hello, I'm Tracy Berry.
I'm Carol Jensen. Thank you for joining us. Tigard police tonight are on the lookout for a team of jewelry thieves who ripped off a store in Washington Square. News Channel 8's Pat Doris is live at Washington Square. He has more on this. Pat, it sounds like they got quite a number of wedding rings.
Oh, that's right. It was about $100,000 worth of rings and other jewels that were ready to sell.
It happened at Hellsberg Diamonds here at Washington Square. It was a robbery in broad daylight.